for today. My name is Kate with Scott Leroy Marketing. I'm going to be going over email campaigns with you guys today. So we're going to kind of take a look at how to create an email campaign, as well as how to send that out through command. Today's class will be recorded, so you can view it later on if you'd like to, and slow down and kind of go along with it if you want. You can access that on our Scott Leroy YouTube channel. And to access that, you'll just go to YouTube and search Scott Leroy Marketing. I do recommend checking out the videos tab. That's going to give you the most current updates. So if you're looking for a recent class, or even the most up-to-date tip videos, things like that, you'll want to check out the videos tab to find those. Definitely subscribe if you haven't. Those tip videos come in handy because we do go over the most recent updates that KW releases to command. So they're a great place to stay up to date on anything new, as well as frequently asked questions that our support team gets. So great place to check out. But without further ado, let's jump into today's class. So the first thing that we want to do for email campaigns is we want to log into command. So if you're not familiar, you can access command by going to agent.kw.com, and I'll drop that in the chat for you guys. But this is your command platform. Now, the first thing we want to do once we're logged into command is we want to take a look at some of our profiles, specifically our marketing profile. The reason we want to take a look at our marketing profile is because for some of our marketing pieces that we create in command, some of the information is going to pull directly from that profile. So having that marketing profile up to date is going to be super important, because that is the main place it pulls from specifically for the email campaigns today. So to access the marketing profile, we want to go to our name in the top right corner and click that little drop down. From there, we want to go into settings. So some people will email us and let us know, hey, I updated my marketing or my profile. However, it's not feeding over to my website or anything like that. This profile is mostly an internal profile. So that one's not going to feed information over to your website, your marketing, things like that. To get to the marketing profile, we actually want to go into settings. And from there, we want to take a look at the Connect settings. And from Connect settings, we're going to click on the marketing profile. Now, this is, in my opinion, the most important profile. And again, the reason for that being is that this is the profile that feeds information to your other platforms. So it's going to provide this information to your website, to your app, to your marketing that we're creating in the Designs applet, all of that stuff. So this is the most important. You do want to make sure that that little light is turned green and your profile is on. If that's not on, some of this information won't feed over. Next, we want to take a look at our photo. So photo is super important to have. This is recommended to be a 360 by 360 image. If you need help resizing that, you can always email our support email, and we're happy to resize your headshot for you. Keeping the headshot that specific size will make sure that your headshot is not distorted or stretched out, or cropped off, anything like that when it is on your other profiles. The team logo. Now this one is important even if you're not on a team, specifically for today's class. So this team logo, even if you're not on a team, will pull into some of your marketing. Again, specifically for today, for the email designs, this does pull. And if you do not have an image here at all, it will appear as a broken image. So we recommend, if you're not on a team or if you haven't branded yourself as a solo agent, go ahead and throw a KW generic logo there. You can sometimes put another headshot there, but just make sure you have something there that will pull into those. Next is your details. So of course you want to make sure you have your first and last name. Your license number is going to be important to add. It does pull into certain pieces, so that one is going to be important as well. These other ones, if you have the information and you'd like to include it, definitely put it there. You can also add military affiliations. Your bio is required in order to complete your profile, so make sure you add something there. Phone numbers, you're going to need both your mobile or preferred contact and your office phone number. Email, and then a website's going to be important as well. Make sure that is the full URL. And if you're using your KW site, make sure you're not adding a www. That will actually cause your website to not load. So you want to leave those off. Next is going to be your market center information. So you do want to make sure you have your logo there, your brokerage information. If you don't know where to find your market center specific logo, you can click this little kwconnect.com. And from there, it will take you into, that is not my login. But anyways, it will take you into kwconnect.com. And from there, you can find your market center specific logos based on your market center number or market center name. And you can download a folder with all of the various colors and formats of those logos. Next is if you are in a market center that requires specific compliance to be added, you'll go ahead and add those here. If you're not sure if that is required for you, we do recommend reaching out to your broker in charge or a compliance coordinator, someone in your office that can verify what information is required. You can also add your social media links and Google Analytics. Once you're all done, you do want to make sure you hit save. And you will get an update saying that that was successfully saved. Now, again, anyone that joined us late, we're just going over the marketing profile. The reason we want to make sure this is up to date is because this information specifically pulls over to our email designs when we are creating that. Now, the next thing I want to look at before I leave the settings section is we're going to go to applications under the command settings. From there, we're going to take a look at the command mail. Now, for today's class, this is what we're going to take a look at to send out email campaigns. However, you can, of course, use MailChimp as well if you would like. But again, we're going to use command mail for today's class. So this is where you can manage your command mail. It will give you a health score based on the emails that you're sending. You could learn more about that by clicking the little link. You can also manage your subscription here. So you do get 5,000 emails per month that are included with your subscription. If you are someone that uses more than 5,000 emails a month, you can certainly upgrade your account by clicking that manage, and it will bring you into upgrade that account. You can also configure your sender name as well as the reply to email. So those can be adjusted here. So whatever you would like the name to appear when that email is sent, and any replies that come to your command email, where do you want those to be directed to? So you can adjust that here. I don't see any questions, so we are going to keep plugging along. The next thing we want to do for today's class is we want to head over to designs. So to access designs, there's a couple ways we can take a look at these, but you can hit this red and white KW if you're not sure what these various applets are. The designs applet is going to be the one that looks kind of like a paintbrush with a canvas behind it. You can also just hover over those and it will give you all of the names. But we're going to head into designs. Now from there, I like to let everyone know yours may look different, and that is 100% okay. These are going to be designs that I've created in the past. They're showing here so that I can easily edit those and reuse them, or make a copy if I want to. You can certainly make copies of those things to use them and recreate them for another. But for today, we're going to go ahead and hit create design. Now for this class specifically, we want to make sure we are selecting email. The email is one of the email and video have very specific templates and designs that have to be used. So we want to make sure we are selecting email. If you're interested in one of these others, you could certainly check out one of our other classes. From there, we are going to see that we have some various templates. So over the last month or so, they did recreate all of the templates within the email campaigns templates. So if you were previously using one, unfortunately, they are showing as they are no longer editable. So you would want to recreate that or grab a new template and use that one. So there's a bunch of different options here. We will take a look at a template if we have time. However, we're going to create an email from scratch today so that we can take a look at all of the various pieces of those templates. So we're going to do create new. And from there, we're brought into our email editor. So here we have the option to edit our email title. So I'm just going to name this today's class. We're going to do 8/8/2024 email campaigns class. Now, once you're done, you just click out of that. It will save it. You'll also notice we have some little icons right below that. One is for desktop, tablet, and then of course, mobile device. That allows you to preview the various, the design that you're creating on the various different devices to see how it will look. Unfortunately, there's no way to edit them to change the size based on the device. It's just allowing you to see what it's going to look like when it's sent and received on that. Over here, you have the view components that we can take a look at once we start adding stuff. You have the preview option that allows you to, again, preview what that email is going to look like. And we'll also take a look at that again so you can see what it actually shows you. And then, of course, you have the undo and the redo button. Up here on the right, we have our options. This is going to allow us to, again, preview our email, send a test to ourselves if we want to preview that in our actual email or phone. And you can also download the template. You also have save and close, and then your closeout. Below that, you have blocks and backgrounds. So those are going to give you a couple of different options. You have your layout, your content, and then that would be the entire part of your email design. So we're going to go through these kind of one by one. These are brand new over the last month. If you have previously created email campaigns, these were the only options before. So they've given us a ton more flexibility with creating these. Also, background is new as well. So that is a new one that you can kind of play around with and see what you like. The first option you have is the body width. So that's going to be the width of your actual design within this over here. So you can adjust that if you want to based on pixels or percent. We're going to leave it. The next one is the container padding. This is basically your border. So it's going to give you a border around the edges when you're adjusting that. The next thing we have is our background. So you have a couple options here. You can do a solid color, or you can add an image. You can do replace. This will allow you to select an image out of your current email design images. It will also allow you to include a listing if you want as your background, or you can upload an image from your computer to go ahead and use as a background. I'll go ahead and hit cancel. We're going to go ahead and go back to the color because we'll change the color. It's a little bit easier, I feel like, than an image. When we click on this background color, it will allow us to drag that cursor to whatever color we would like to, and it will change the background of the email. Now, keep in mind when you're selecting your background color, you're going to be adding things on top of this. So making sure that you like how it looks and also that it is easy to read when people get it is going to be important. You can also use your dropper if you want to get a specific color. Let's say we like this Zoom blue. We could grab that. It's not going to grab it from there. Let's try. See if it grabs this color. There we go. So you can use your dropper if you're using a specific image or something like that and you want to pull a color from that into your design. You can always use that little dropper to grab that specific color. Now I'm going to go slightly lighter on this so that it's just easy on the eyes. That is almost too close to the background color though, so we're going to go up a little bit. You can also use your hex color if you have that, but using the dropper and things like that are just as easy. Once you have your background though, how you'd like it, we can go back into our blocks and start building our actual design. So we have some column options now that we didn't have before. You can drag those and drop those over. And when I do that, you can see that border that I was talking about before. We can drop that in. That green line that's there when I'm dragging and dropping is showing me where that's going to land. Let's have 3 columns. We could do the 3 and 7. The divider is going to basically create a divider between the pieces of the layout. So if we were to pop that up here, let's see if I can get it right there. So as you can see, I can also do it to just part. See, that green line is telling you where it's going to drop that. So if you're just wanting a divider on part of one, you can also use that. Or if you keep playing around with it, you can drop it over the whole entire space. So I did put one right here. When I do that, I can still edit that. So if I want that to be, change the height, the width, I can do that. Let's change this to 6. Oops. So that's going to make that line a little bit thicker, a little bit easier to see. We're going to move this back to a 3. Again, you can also change the width if you don't want it to be the full length of the email. You can change the color, of course. And again, you can change the border around it. All of that stuff can be altered. The position, you can do left, right, or center. So lots of customization that was not previously available. Once we have that divider, though, how we like it, we can go ahead and keep moving. So again, you just have all of those different columns and things like that that you can now include that were not previously there. The next is our text. So we can go ahead and drag that and drop that. If we want to create just a text box, you should be able to drag that into the box as well. As you can see, it's no longer above it. It's actually in that first column that I was having. So we'll just go ahead and edit this. We'll say that this is August newsletter. I'm going to adjust the font of that. We're going to make it a little bit bigger. I'll grab that font. There we go. And as you can see now, this is something that didn't used to happen either. It did not use to update this in real time. You would have to hit the done button and go back to the design before it would update. So that is a new change that is kind of nice to see. I'm going to hit a space. I want this to be at the top. Of course, you can then still adjust your width, your border, all of that good stuff. You can also put an actual border around it. As you can see now, it has that little box around it. I'm going to turn that back off though. And we're going to go to the next one. So next we have image. So you can drag that and drop that over and then select your image. So again, these are going to be images that I previously used on an email design specifically. So I've already uploaded these from the add images section and they've stayed in here as my kind of library to reuse if I ever need to. So let's just grab one. Just do this one right here. Just throw that in. Then let's say we wanted to add some information over here. We can certainly do that. I don't know why it's going to the, oh, it's giving me the border option. Say I wanted to type something about this image here. Let's say we're having like a end of summer barbecue, whatever. We could put that here. And then I could, of course, type some information about it, whatever you are trying to include. When you're creating these designs, obviously you want to have a goal and a purpose, whether that be just a newsletter, or if you're specifically trying to advertise a listing or open house or a client event, whatever it may be, just make sure whatever you're creating is focused on that goal. in my email template that I'm creating, it's just to show you all of the various different pieces and how to use them. So just keep that in mind as we're going through this. The next option we have is the button. So we can drag this and drop this here or anywhere that we'd like. Let's say that we're having this end of summer barbecue and we want people to RSVP. We've created a Google form or a way to capture their information when they register, and we want to link that button. We can certainly do that. We could do RSVP here. And as you can see, it's updating that right there. Now, if I did have my Google form or whatever page I want them to register on, I can click web address. I'm just going to grab a link, just a random link, and throw that in there just to show you guys what that looks like. But let's pretend that that is our RSVP link. We can then change the styling down here. So if we want to fill or fit content or fill, as you can see, when I switch that, the box gets bigger. So that's just a personal preference on styling and how you want it to look. You can also then change the color. Let's say we want to match, we'll just grab a random color. We can still use that photo to pull in those colors with that dropper, or again, we can certainly adjust the color here and grab it that way. You can change the font. So if we want it to all match, we can certainly do that. Make it bigger. You can also change the text color if you'd like that to be a different color. And then again, the padding and the border around it as well. So lots of customization, lots of options there when you are creating these. Once we're done though, we can go ahead and hit back. Now, there's a couple of things that I didn't add before that we're going to add really quick. So we are going to add the legal header and the legal footer. So for the legal header, that's going to go at the top, and our legal footer is going to go at the bottom down here. So a lot of times we'll get messages or emails about this information. How do I edit this? Why does it look like the image is not there? This is where that marketing profile comes into play. So we went in and edited that marketing profile so it will feed to this information. Now this logo down here specifically is that team logo that we were talking about. So if you did not have a logo in your marketing profile for the team, it is going to send out with an image that looks exactly like this one here, and it will look like a broken image. So it's super important to get one added there. This information is the same though. It is also going to pull from the marketing profile. Now, once I pull those in, I like to take a quick look at the little eyeball to preview, because that's going to show you what that actually looks like when it's pulling that information over. So you get to see it in real time. Same down here. There's that team logo that I added. Now we do also get questions on the address displaying twice. Unfortunately, at this time, there is not a way to have two addresses in your marketing profile. And having your market center address is the one that it's pulling from. So that is required to be there, and it will display twice. So just keep that in mind. One of them is displaying as your information, and one is displaying as the market center information. Again, you can preview that on the tablet and the mobile device. Again, mobile gets a little tricky because it does adjust that sizing kind of, and it can really change the layout of your email. So just keep that in mind when you're creating these. Moving along, so we did the footer and the header right here. The next one we can grab is a listing block. So we're just going to drag that into this little box. And of course, it made it bigger. 3 columns is probably not the way we want to go. So we could delete that. We could even delete this one and just have it in one. Once we do that and we have our listing block, we can pull in listing information directly from the MLS. So for that, we would click Select Listing. And it is going to allow you to show all listings, my listings. You can also search by address, MLS number, or KWLS ID. Now, we recommend using the MLS number when you're doing this. The reason for that being is that this is pulling from every MLS. So having that specific piece of information is just going to make it a little bit easier to find what you're looking for. You can also just search over here. Like I said, address, MLS, it'll allow you to type those here. I'm just going to grab one of these for today's class to show an example. We'll just grab this scenic one here. As you can see, it is pulling in all of the other MLS information when it does that. Now you can adjust that all over here. If something didn't pull in or is not showing correctly, you can certainly adjust that over here. You can also have this a clickable link. So if someone were in your email and were to click on this and you want to redirect them to a open house or your website that has that property address, whatever you want to do, you can certainly do that. Let me see if I can pull up my website and grab this link really quickly. Oops. Pages still. You can always tell when I'm troubleshooting something because you come in and it's different language. Let's go ahead and type in this address and see if we can find that property. It's not pulling that one. That's okay. We'll just redirect them to my website for now. You could do an open house sign-in sheet so that it's specifically pointing to them to that address so that you know when they fill that out that it's for that property. But for today, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the website. You could also just do web address. Or I'm sorry, I thought they used to have one for the app or the website, but maybe they've removed that. But anyways, it will redirect them directly to my website where they can search this property and everything like that. Now again, more styling options, so we can change that and keep things consistent. Change the color of that if we want to. I'm going to leave it black because it's easy to read. The border, position, layout, all of that. You can also make one that is vertical. So that is a new option. So however you like that to look on here, again, that one's going to be a personal preference on what you like. And then go back. Oh, I didn't put this. I didn't catch what this was either. We'll just put them. I don't know if it will let me. It probably flag it as wrong. Usually I have one with all of that information, so I don't have to worry about that. After the listing block, though, we then have an event block. So this would be, I kind of created one here already, but this is a little bit different of a version. It's going to allow you to pull in all of that information. So it's going to allow you to put a photo. It's going to have the date, the event. So let's say you're having a client event, similar to what I put up top. You can definitely add all of the information here. Same as like the RSVP, or if you're just trying to capture information, you have that button. Now this could be for anything else. You could do this for an open house. Kind of up to you there. Same thing, you're just going to replace your image. You can certainly use the listing here and pull that in. We'll do a different one this time. We'll just do 123 Main and see what comes out. I'll go with this one. Let's see, we want to update our information here. So August, this weekend is the 11th. And we're going to do 2024. One, two, and again, you can adjust your font, all of that good stuff. We're going to go back. Event title. We're just going to do open house for this one. I'm going to leave it pretty simple. And then if I wanted to put a description about the house, anything like that, I can certainly throw that in here. while I'm in this text box though, I want to show you guys how to use these merge fields. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this information and we're going to grab a merge field. What a merge field does is it allows you to pull a merge tag. It pulls in that information from commands. So first name, this would pull from your marketing profile, license number, all of that stuff's going to pull from your marketing profile. If you keep going down, you have market center information as well. And then you also have contact information. So if you're sending this out to your database and you want to personalize it with their first name, you can certainly pull in contact first name. You can put whatever you want here. I really just want to show you how to use these tags. Now, I do like to make it a point when you're wanting to do this, you do not want to just type out this information. Make sure you are using the actual tags. That's just going to make sure that they're working properly. But now that we're all done, we're going to go ahead and click out of that. I want to show you guys really quickly how you can check to make sure this is working. So it says contact first name. If we hit that preview again, and we scroll down where it says contact first name, we now have the option to search contacts. This wasn't here before because we didn't have a contact, but you can check and see what that looks like when it goes out. So it's going to say their name instead of saying contact first name. Now we do get some questions sometimes. You'll send a test email to yourself and it will still say contact first name. That is because when you are sending a test email to yourself, you are only putting in an email. So it is not associating your email with a contact name. So it's not going to pull that information. If you're wanting to see that contact name changed, you'll want to just send yourself an email and check it that way. But again, you can also check it here. That's the way to make sure it's working. You can search any contact in your database to see what that will pull like. Moving along, again, button is the same as the one up top. So you can add your links and all of that good stuff. You can adjust the size, the text, everything like that. Going back. The next ones we have is our video. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that over. Now, as you can see, before I pulled in the layout box, you don't have to do that. If you're not picky about the layout, you can just drag and drop your pieces of information over and adjust it how you want to. So you don't have to use those layouts to pull in a piece of the content. When we're doing the video though, you're going to click on that and you'll want to put the URL. Now this is super important. These videos that you're using for these do have to be public videos. So you'd want to use like YouTube or something like that in order to post your video and then grab the URL. So I'm just going to grab this URL really quick. And put that here. Now, when I do that, I still need to add a image, like a thumbnail for whatever that video is. So I can select whichever one I want. This is not the right one, but I'm going to go ahead and use this one just as an example. So it's going to show that there. I can add some additional or alternative text if I want to. Again, styling I can change. If I want that to be smaller, I can certainly make it smaller on the screen and not full size. I can add that border around it, even on the top. It's going to push it down. Same thing down here. I can do right or left or center. And then, of course, the border. Now the border just puts a box around it. Border width, I can also change that. So if we want it to be, red, you can see that now, as you couldn't see it before. You can make it bigger. Personal preference on this. And this just curves it. So if you can see that when I do it, it curves the box. Once you have that how you want it though, and you are happy with it, you can go ahead and just go back into your email. And the last thing we have is a market snap. So this is going to give you neighborhood trends. You can change the name of it if you want it to be specifically named based on the neighborhood that you're using. Oops. Grab the zip code off here really quick. Let's forget it. And then once I put in a zip code, it's going to allow me to pick the specific neighborhood in that area. And that's going to then capture all of that information. Let's just pick one. Now, when you're doing these, unfortunately, this information cannot be manually edited. So if you don't like the information, we would recommend creating that separately on a design and then pulling it in. But this is a great way to easily pull that information in and not have to do a ton of editing. You can change the font there, color, anything you want. It only changes part of it, so keep that in mind. Border, again, same thing. It's going to put a border around the, or actually that's the body text, I'm sorry. So that's changing the numbers down here. We're going to leave those black. Again, your padding around it, left, right, border. Now the border is putting it around. Change that again if we want to. Thickness, all of that. So lots more customization that they did not previously have, which is really exciting because it just allows you to do so much more. Not that this template here is very attractive right now, but this is an example. Once we're done with this though, and our email is exactly how we want it, we have all of the pieces there and everything is good, we can do one last check of that preview of it. Make sure we like that, everything is good. We can also send that test email. Now again, if I send this to myself, as you can see, it's not allowing me to put contact name. So when it does send that, again, it doesn't pull contact name. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send test. And when that comes over to my email, I can show you guys what that looks like. One second. All right. So here is my test email. As you can see, close this out too. Oops. Anyways, all of my information is there. It does say contact first name when that comes over. I can click on this, my video will play. This is just where you can check to make sure any links that you added are working. If we click here, we can make sure that one is working, everything like that. So just a great place to make sure everything is working. Now, we also do get questions about this email here. This cannot be changed. So this is any email that's sent directly through command will send with this agent at mailer.kw.com. However, it will show the sender name that you've set in the settings of command, and anyone that replies to this email will go to that email that you had selected. So just keep that in mind when you are taking a look at these. Maybe someday they'll remove that agent mailer and allow you to edit it, but right now it is not. We're all done, so we're going to save and close. And now I just want to show you guys how we would actually email this out. So next we would want to go to campaigns. And from there, we want to go into emails. Now from here, we have our email dashboard. You have how many were mailed the last 30 days, recipients, opens, clicks, how many emails you have left in command email to send. You can search for emails that you've sent. You can filter based on mailed, scheduled, archived, drafted, the goal that you've set, which we'll select in a second for our new one. If you sent that through MailChimp or Command Mail. And then we have our email list here. And we're going to come back to this in 1 second. Next, we have the overview. This gives us the name of the email campaign that we sent. You have the status, so if that was mailed or if it's archived, whatever it may be. The date, how many were sent, opens, clicks, and the goal. Now I also like to take a look at, we'll check one of these down here. This gives you very specific information as to who it was delivered to, who opened it, clicked on it, unsubscribed, who it did not get sent to, and who did not open it at all. So good information here to see if the emails that you're sending are valuable, if they're being received, all of that good stuff. Before we send our email campaign, we do want to make sure our email list is set up. So you can set this up in the email campaign. We just find that there's a lot less errors if you create it beforehand. So we can create new, or we can edit a list that we already have. You do also have your MailChimp list, which is going to be 100% separate from your command mail list. I'm going to go ahead and do create new. And I can either search by name, or I'm sorry, I have to create my list. And all of mine are cartoons, so sorry. Now I can search by contacts here. I can search by name or email. I can also search based on tags. So if I'm pulling specific tags that I want to email, I can pull those up. Select all. If there's more than what fits right here, I would have to do show more until I have everyone loaded, and then I can hit that select all and it will add everyone at once. One thing I like to note with the list, if you create a list that's based on a tag and you're adding new people to your database that have that tag, they're not going to automatically update in your list. So you will want to update this every time you send a new email to that specific list. Again, you can do that by editing an old list, or you can do it by just creating a new one with the tag, whatever is easiest for you. Now that I have my list, I'm going to go ahead and do create campaign. We are doing email. I'm going to do email campaign class 8. And for this one, I'm just going to do other because this is just a newsletter. So it's not really attracting listings or advertising, anything like that. So we're going to go with other, create. Now from there, I have my campaign name. Again, this is internal. I'm the only one that sees that. The account that I'm using, this is where I can then find my list. So cartoon 88, send from, reply to. Now I can still edit these here, but it's going to take me into where I showed you earlier. So right here. Next is the subject of the email. So wherever you want this to show up when it gets in their inbox. Like I typed today. And then we're going to select a design. And this is going to allow us to select our email design that we picked. Now, if you ever create a social design and you're trying to email that out, it's not going to work. We'll see people email us sometimes and they say, hey, my design's not showing up. It has to be an email design to pull it into these. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. Now I get to preview this one more time. I can make any adjustments in here if something wasn't done correctly, or I just want to do a last minute change. Then I can go ahead and save and close. And when I do that, you'll see that my preview shows up over here on the right-hand side for me to view again. Now from there, I can still do preview test, send test. Now the preview in here, just keep in mind, I can't check that name like I could in the other area. So just remember that when you're doing this. Now we're all set. So I'm going to go ahead and send this. And it's going to show processing. And when that starts to be received and updated, it will start to update that information through here, as well as when I click on it, I will start to see the other information here. Now, this is going to probably be a whole bunch of not sent because they're all made up emails, but that's okay. One last thing when you're sending these is we do get questions as well on the unsubscribe. any email that is sent through command automatically applies a unsubscribe option at the bottom. It does not appear in the preview or the test, only when the email is physically sent to contacts. So just keep that in mind as well. We have about 15 minutes. I'm just going to check the questions in the chat really quick. Jack, how did you do the box? I'm sorry I missed this before. If you want to let me know which box you're referring to, I can certainly go back and the frame around August. So when I was in here, I clicked the border and that put that there. And then if you scroll down, you have the options to change the color of that. So you can do that with any of them. It's just that little border button. And like I said, you can also change the width of those boxes, color, everything like that. So however you want that to look. Oops, clicking all kinds of buttons. Okay, let's see. Yes, Ruben, I just kind of went over that. You can't view it in the preview or the test email, but when the emails are sent, any email that is sent through command has an unsubscribe option at the bottom. Welcome. And I think I missed a question. Is it better to use email campaigns or a one-off email smart plan? So David, that is kind of just personal preference. Usually you're going to be using smart plans when there are multiple touches involved, not for a one-off smart plan or one-off email, but entirely up to you. I prefer just doing an email campaign, but it's quicker for me than going in and creating a smart plan, but either one will work. Vicky, are you referring to Twilio? I'm going to go ahead and turn off record.